Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the fifth quarter. It's part of our Three Browns coverage here on WKYC.com. I'm Dave DeNatale, along with Jay Crawford, in the aftermath, a Tuesday aftermath of the Browns' loss 16-14 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Jay, a lot of things to kind of sift through with this loss. You can be a Pollyanna and say, well, geez, they were down so many players and they gave a great effort and they put themselves in a position to win. But we've been in this situation so often this year, the Browns in a position to win a game and they don't do it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. First of all, I want to apologize. I just finished my workout and I had to because I had so much frustration built up after last night's game. Yeah, you're right. On the gut check, the team passed. I think they got an A on the gut check because honestly, I don't think anybody going into the game last night at 8:00 would have given them an opportunity to have the lead and the ball with 2.5 minutes to go when you looked at their roster ahead of time. All that being said, the effort was wasted by more conservative play calling that I can predict from my couch. And I don't have the luxury of the catch 22, all 22 version from up top. I'm hitting at about 75 to 80% effectiveness on predicting the Browns plays before their run. If I'm able to do that from my couch with the limited view of the field of play that I have, what do you think the defensive coordinator is able to do with the eye in the sky and everybody in view? That's the story of our season is conservative and predictable play calling. I tweeted last night after the game, and I'll stand by this. There was some pushback, but I'll explain that in a second. My tweet was 4 yards is all that separated the Browns from being the 4 seed and in first place in the division that 3 weeks ago was universally called the best in football, or being in last place and on the way outside looking in on the playoffs. 4 yards. And I'm going to stand by that. When the other team knows what you are going to do, their effectiveness in stopping it goes up dramatically. Watch, and I've said this many times on this podcast this year, watch the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid. And I know that Eric Bieniemy is calling the plays, but Eric Bieniemy has Andy Reid in his ear 24/7 all week long. Watch the way they call plays and see how effective you can be predicting what they're going to do. Because I can tell you, because I've watched a number of their games this year, and I'm hitting at about 40% on predicting their plays because you don't know. If the book says, that's the problem. That's what I wanted. My message today to the Browns coaches is throw the book away. Throw it away. Because when you go by the book, the other team knows what you're going to do. So this book is nonsense. Get rid of it. When the Browns intercepted the ball, I actually said out loud, the Browns will go 3 and out. They will run all 3 plays. They will punt to the Raiders, who will drive down the field and kick a last-second field goal to win the game. I got it all right. And that's not my pessimism as a fan. That's just watching this team, knowing exactly how they're going to play.
Right.
The San Diego game ended the same way. Just those 2 games. Forget the Pittsburgh debacle. Forget the other losses that you're scratching your head at saying, how did they just lose that game? Just pick up the 3 yards against San Diego and the 3 yards last night. Just those 2 plays alone, and you will have a comfortable lead. You're in first place of the division, and you don't have to win going to Green Bay now.
Right.
You don't have to win. So the fans' frustration is palatable because despite the fact that we had a different play caller, the result was the same. And I'm just wondering, the players would never give you their true opinion. They would never voice their true opinion to the media because it would cause a major rift. And I don't want to put thoughts or words in their heads and mouths. But I'm just wondering this morning, how many of them in that moment when that play was sent in, how many of them were wondering, I'm guessing we're going to see much of the same from their defense. They're going to stack the box. They're going to stuff the run, So why not flip the script? Why not play action fake and throw? Or why run to the right side? That had worked all night.
Right.
Why not pull the guards and run to your left, which had been working? I don't get it. And it's a damn shame because this was the gut punch. This was the worst loss of the season. And they've had some really bad ones. In my view, this was the worst loss of the season. And yes, the players made mistakes. Okay. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. How many balls did we drop? How many balls did we drop?
A lot.
You missed a field goal.
Yep.
I'm sorry. You can't miss field goals and expect to win close games. It's always going to come back to get you. Always. When you're playing Baltimore, there's no drama. When their kicker comes out on the field, you can go to the bathroom early. You can go get a drink. You can do whatever you want because you know that Tucker's going to not just make it. His ball is going to sail right over the crossbar every time.
Yeah.
And there's never any drama. But with our guy, and it's always been that way for the most part. I mean, Dawson was reliable, but it's a crapshoot. Maybe he'll make it, maybe he won't. You can't ask the other 52 guys on the team to cut themselves and bleed on the field and have the game decided that way. You can't do it. The players deserve better. The fans deserve better. This organization should be better. I don't know what it takes to go find and sign and maintain a reliable kicker, but they haven't been able to do that. And I don't know if it's because of oversight or lack of importance to that position. I'm not sure because it's spanned many regimes. But I'm shooting all my bullets, by the way. I'm getting them all out.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But to me, the single biggest reason the Browns lost this football game is because of not just that last play call. That was super predictable. But the play calling in general, not just offensively, but who didn't know that the defense was going to play a super soft zone at the end and let Derek Carr chew up 10 and 15-yard gains at a time until they were in field goal range. It was just pathetic. It was sickening. This fan base deserves better. And quite frankly, I'm done hearing after games, well, we've got to coach better. We've got to coach better. We've got to be better. That's on me. Yeah, it's on you. Nobody else made the call. Of course it's on you. Tell us something we don't know. And honestly, and the weird thing is, Dino, they can lose at Green Bay and still make the playoffs.
That was my next thing to you. There's still
it's unbelievable.
There's still a pathway. Now you need help, but there's still a pathway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there is. And, your destiny was in your own hands last night.
Correct.
And you fumbled that away. Now, the path to the playoffs is made noticeably more difficult by what happened last night. But that being said, they can go to Green Bay and lose. They can win their last two games, and there's still a chance that they make the postseason. Right. But the wild card, they don't deserve the playoffs. Let me first say that. They don't deserve it. They've lost to just about every team that's in contention. Beat a good team. Beat a good team other than Cincinnati. Can you do that maybe? And I know Baltimore was a win, but they had the luxury of playing a backup quarterback who, by the way, at this point looks pretty damn good.
Yes.
But I don't know. I'm just ranting and I'm just venting. And I think that's what all the fans are doing on this disgusting, disastrous Tuesday after a loss that should have been another win. But they've got to do better. Let's hope they get the troops back. But I really want to emphasize that I want to stress the effort of the players, because the gut check that this team showed us last night was an A+. They passed with flying colors. Yeah. The guys that were out there, for the most part, were there mistakes? Of course there were. You had guys out of position. You had a left tackle who's not done it since college and had 1 day's notice he was going to be the second most important person on the football field. I just thought that collectively they banded together. What a shame, Dino, they didn't get that win. Had they gotten that win, that might have carried them through Green Bay, through the last 2 weeks of the season, and roll into the playoffs on a serious momentum. And now, it just feels like somewhere, Dino, there is a voodoo doll with 1 million pins stuck in it, because I literally watching them freeze the kicker before halftime. He makes the kick. and then he misses the second one. And then we freeze their kicker at the end, but no problem. He drills the second one. It literally has me asking, and I don't think I'm the only Browns fan, what the hell did we do to piss off the football gods? What did we do? And whatever it is, I want to collectively apologize for whoever did what. I don't know what it was. I'll fall on the sword for whatever it was. Whoever we agreed. I don't know what it is, but football gods, we are sorry. We are sorry for whatever crime it is that we committed against football humanity. Can we bury the hatchet and just be done with it already? Can we start to be the Steelers, who are, without question, and this goes back to the Immaculate Reception, the luckiest organization on the planet of organized sports, not just football. They are the luckiest organization of all time. Can we just reverse the fortunes for maybe the next 30 years?
I think it's fair.
Can we? I'm done. I'm done.
They've had 50. They've had 50 years of success. I think we've earned a little bit. Okay. I want to close with this because I was on a national radio show last night. I think I know what you're going to say because probably the same thing I said, but I want to ask you. So I was asked, okay, the Browns are 7-7. Dino, if you had to pick one person who's most responsible for this team underperforming and being 7-7, who is it? Who do you think? Yes, that's exactly what I said. I think
Kevin would say Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah.
I mean, even in a moment of solitude, he in the mirror, I think he would say it's me.
Yeah.
Because look, and to the same thing, Kevin Stefanski was most responsible for our run last year and our 11-5 in playoff victory. And that's not uncommon. I mean, maybe with the exception of Tom Brady, who, by the way, had the GOAT as a head coach and has a pretty damn good one now in Bruce down in Tampa. For the most part, that's the way the NFL goes. I watched the Vikings game last night, and I want to tell you this. The Browns are the Vikings' spawn.
Yes. Yes.
They are the Minnesota Vikings in a different city and wearing different colors. And that's no surprise. Stefanski coached under Zimmer. Zimmer did everything humanly possible last night to tell Chicago, we want you to have this win. It's our holiday gift to you. We like you. We like you. That was the single biggest display of coaching not to lose I have ever seen. And you know what? There's now, by the way, because that touchdown at the end of the game, that also made last night a one-score game.
It did.
Which means every game they've played this year, correct me if I'm wrong, has been a one-score game.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. Yeah.
And I believe half of them, 7, were decided on the last play of the game. And I'm going to tell you what that's a product of. People want to say, well, that's the NFL. It's a close league. Everybody, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. It's a byproduct of a coach who doesn't know where the accelerator is when he gets a 1 or 2 score lead. That's what that is. It's the byproduct. Do you know how many times they punted in the second half? You know how many first downs they had in the second half? It's the same thing they did against Pittsburgh earlier this year when they were up 29-0 and almost gagged that lead away.
Yep.
And Chicago, despite the fact they lost 17-9, by the way, I don't know why they didn't kick the extra point. I'm not sure what the ruling was on that. I don't think I've ever seen that. And if I'm wrong, someone please let me know why the extra point wasn't kicked. Know.
That's a good question.
An extra point is supposed to be kicked after every score, after every touchdown, except for a game-winning touchdown in overtime. So I don't know why they didn't kick the extra point. I know it didn't have anything to do with the outcome of the game, but I've seen teams kick extra point with no time on the clock when they were down 20. So I don't quite understand why that happened. It was still a one-score game because they got it to 8 points. Dino, they had the ball 3 times, the Bears did, inside the Vikings' 20-yard line in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. And there was a miraculous circus catch that wasn't. in the end zone that would have been a touchdown. There was another stop on downs inside the 5. Zimmer did everything he could to silver platter it to Chicago. Chicago's own ineptness saved Mike Zimmer from the ultimate collapse, just like he was saved by a drop touchdown at the end of the game against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
When are these coaches going to learn that coaching conservatively and coaching not to lose is a great way to lose your job? It's a great way to lose your job. I don't understand. I know it's easy for fans to sit here and say, you can't run the ball here. You've got to throw the ball. Well, you stop the clock. You give the other team timeout. Well, then you put it in your hands of your defense. But the way you're doing it, you're going to do that anyhow. You're telegraphing what play you're going to run. And I'm pretty sure they're going to stop it because they've stopped it all night long when they've known it was coming. So Zimmer is ruining a pretty good football team. I think Minnesota's an above average football team, and I think the Browns are an above average football team. But when you coach not to lose, when you have victories late in games, go ahead and lose, because these quarterbacks and these offenses are built to cover large quantities of ground in under a minute. If you say we're going to a soft zone defense here, you're just asking to lose on a last second field goal. So I'm done ranting. I got to divorce myself of the game, because quite honestly, I can't. You got to go back to Game 7 of the 16 World Series to find a time where I've been more disappointed with the outcome of a game.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, can you think of a Browns or Cavs or Indians loss in the last 5 years that was more painful? I mean,
yeah, I mean that's the
first
gold
place,
standing.
Game
one of the last finals with LeBron. You know, the J.R. Smith timeout. It's the only thing that I can come up with.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, I didn't think the Cavs had a chance to win that series.
No.
Everybody says, well, how would have it turned out differently? We would have lost that series anyhow. We were outmatched. We were outmatched, period, end of it. All of that being said, I was thinking about it after the loss, and I honestly can't remember, because it's the difference, Dino, of being in first place or last. When in the history of the NFL, I want someone to show me when the outcome of one play meant the difference between first and last place in week 15 of an NFL season. I'll guarantee you it's never happened.
Yeah.
I'd be stunned if it's ever happened.
Yeah.
I can't remember a division being this bottlenecked this late in the season.
Right.
And all of that being said, they're a game out of first place. Now, I think they no longer have a 3-way tiebreak because of the loss last night to the Raiders. I'm pretty sure they lost that.
No, because the tiebreak would affects them and the Ravens, so they still have a 2-1 record against Cincinnati and Baltimore. So if there was a 3-way tie with those teams with the same record,
so if they beat Cincinnati at the end,
yes,
Baltimore can't finish with only one loss against those teams, right?
Correct.
Or did they lost to Cincinnati
earlier? Yeah.
Okay, so if they lose to Green Bay and win out, do they win the division unless one of those teams goes 3-0?
I think this is we're gonna have to do the mathematicians. I've seen we need the Kansas City Chiefs. We're gonna have to send Andy Reid a gift basket, because the Chiefs play the Ravens. No, I think they play the Bengals, and I think they play the Steelers.
Yeah, and the question is, if we got to hope they don't already have the 1 seed locked up.
Right.
We need Kansas City to have to win both of those games.
Yes.
I think they'll beat both of those teams if they play everybody. But if it's one of those deals where they've clinched, they'll rest everybody in the last week of the season, and imagine losing the playoffs on that. You know.
That's happened before. That happened in 2007.
Yeah, I know. I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. All that being said, the Braves were under 500 in mid-August, and they flipped the switch and won the World Series. And the Bucks looked like they were a wounded team going into the bye week last year, and they came out of that and didn't lose the rest of the season. I'm not suggesting for a second that this team can run the table and win the Super Bowl. But what I am saying, to quote a profoundly genius line from one of the dumbest movies ever made, I'm saying there's a chance. I'm saying
it's still out there.
Yeah.
Teeny tiny. Like Butch Davis would say, teeny tiny. My friend, as always, I appreciate it. Merry Christmas, by the way. This is our last show before Christmas. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
And to you too. And I know you want to wrap it up because I went way longer than we should have. But I want to do this. I want to end on this note. We get riled up.
Yes,
we do.
Yes.
It's because we care. We love this team. We love our city, and we get riled up because we care. But I want to end with this thought. It's the holidays. We have much to be thankful for. We're living through an unprecedented time of fear. Never in my lifetime has there been such widespread fear of the unknown, of what's coming tomorrow. So all of that being said, let me end by saying this. What happened on the field last night on that plot of land in downtown Cleveland was a game. It was a game. And in the words of my dying father, as we watched the Indians blow a 3-1 lead in the ALCS to the Red Sox, and he was riddled with cancer and not long from his death, he looked at me in my moment of despair. I was crushed because my dad and I were never going to witness a Cleveland championship together. And we knew that in that moment. And my dad looked at me and said, son, we just had one hell of an experience. I had flown to Arizona to be with him for the last 4 games of the series. He said, son, we just had a whale of an experience together. I'll never forget it because I don't have much time left. But if you live to be 100, you won't forget it either. It's about the moments. It's about the relationships. It's about the bonding between a father and a son in a time of despair. And the fact that that baseball game offered 3 hours for 3 straight nights where we weren't thinking about his cancer. So what happened on that field was a game. And even though we get riled up about it, it's over. We don't make any less money because they lost. And had they won, we weren't getting any rings.
No.
We just get momentary pride, and that's all. So love the hell out of your mom if you're lucky enough to have her. Love the hell out of your dad if you're lucky enough to have him. Love the hell out of whoever it is in your life that loves you. Because nothing's guaranteed, and nothing, not a football game, not a championship, nothing is more important than those relationships, particularly right now. Merry Christmas to all. I love you, Cleveland. I love this organization. Hell, Dino, I love you, brother.
Love you too.
And let's go to Green Bay and try to get a win.
Well said, my friend. Thanks everybody for watching the 5th quarter right here on WKYC.com.